Men are not dependent on women. And what? Men are stronger than women. Let's say that in this environment you're about to paint, it's true that men are stronger than women in every capacity possible. Let's say that they win as a group. Battle of the sexes. Men win. After 100 years, just a general generational time of a human lifespan, it's only men, right? Men have won. After another 100 years, the whole species gone. Bravo. Bravo. You fucking did nothing. You literally killed yourselves by thinking you as a quarterback are more important than your lineman. But didn't realize without the line you get sacked. Same for women. Women win this battle of the sexes now. It's just women. 100 years passed. Species dead. You need both of us. We're not asexual. Ourselves may be, but we are a conglomeration of all of these things together. Ourselves, that is. Ourselves and our organs and yada yadas, our biology. But in 100 years' time, our whole species would be fucking dead. That was the whole point, wasn't it? So that two opposites could synergize into one, transcend both of each other's weaknesses by utilizing both perspectives in a unit system and producing life, for which is the basic structure of our whole species and any species in biology generally. It's the basic goal, purpose of the system to produce the next offspring, right? But what's fucking cool, what we aware humans are blessed with, are given by our awareness, is we can actually do that biological thing, the logical method of thought in which biology is biology in the sense that that's how it does. That's what it is. It is explicitly meant so that offspring can be produced by two opposite sexes as far as Homo sapien primates come together, create an offspring. That's the logical biology of it, right? But the emotional transcendency, the idea of the I don't know what the fuck, how do I, the point of humans being aware is we get to have a relationship not only about mating, but we get to relate to a human. We get to relate to them. We get to relate to that the entirety that is them, meaning their culture that created who they are, their experience, their parents, their race, their identities, their sexuality, and how they experienced these things and how they dealt with these things in the world, their previous partners and from those relationships, how did they learn to relate better to themselves and relate better to other people? But you paint it like it's a fucking war. Battle of the sexes. Stupid fucking way to analyze a system. If you have a question, make sure it's not a system, because you can't analyze one component and assume the whole system is because of that. It works the same as one component. It doesn't. We get to, man, let them
You
go.
think you'd be able to survive without a man?
Most definitely.
You would not, if I'm going to be honest with you.
So,
Who are you to assume that she wouldn't anyway? I mean, genuinely in a Paleolithic, because that's what he's painting. He's painting a period of time in which we actually had to survive as Homo sapiens. Not as much as modern man, but or modern woman, but purely Homo sapiens. First off, why are you telling her she wouldn't? How do you know? How do you actually know she wouldn't survive in this King of the Hill battle of yours? She might, and you might not. Why tell her she can't? Why not just explain your position on why you think you can?
I will be
You
able to
would not.
survive.
Yes.
You would not. You would not. Maybe I wouldn't either.
Without a woman.
Because men, right? So the thing is that it's only, see, The only reason you're able to say that is because we live in a first world country with power and running water and an infrastructure that allows you to be independent of men. But the reality is, since the beginning of time, women had to align themselves with the strongest men for this very purpose you're mentioning, which is survival.
See, he's taking a perspective on the kings, on the like, when you're reading a history book and you read the lines, you don't actually inside the paragraphs, you don't see the millions of people who lived on their own and did their own thing through that time and figured a way out to survive in their culture, whatever that was, right? He's taking a top level perspective, a level of analysis, and looking at the kings, the emperors, the warlords who were these these individuals who acquired massive amounts of wealth and so happened to have women as their so they happened to have women because they wanted to what? Mate and produce the next offspring, right? The heir. And he is saying, because of this historical trend that we see in leaders, you wouldn't be able to survive on your own because women have always needed men to survive. Do like there's a shit ton of stories in history, and it's not just the kings and the queens, man. Like, women have been surviving on their own, in their own methods, in their own ways, since the beginning of time. And the irony is, I'm not even defending women. Like, I'm not even trying to. And it just comes out like that, right? As a byproduct. Because I'm trying to tell him, well, I'm trying to describe, hopefully to someone, how stupid his fucking perspective is. And I said that emotionally amplified, honestly, because like I really do hate the fact that this stuff is out there, because I know our other individuals are gonna look at it and take it for like face value, and then start augmenting it onto like actual females as males to females, and then they're gonna assume they're like this, and they're gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm better, I'm more superior than you. You need me. No, they don't. They don't need you in this time period, and they didn't need them in that time period. We need them, and they need us. There are outliers in all of history that shows men surviving on their own and women surviving on their own. It's not as easy as two coming together into one, though. Two betters ahead than one. Two heads are better than one. And if two heads have different perspectives, they make the system even better because there's two different perspectives to see the world from. We're not blindsided by our own fucking perspective.
A woman cannot survive on her own without a man's protection, because you need a man to protect you from other men. If the power went out by yourself, whatever, you would not have the strength or the ability to be able to forage, food and resources, etc. Men would beat the shit out of you and take it from you.
How do you know dude, this guy talks about history. He uses history as like a point of analysis and then puts it into his like argument as if he has read all of history. Stop looking at the top of the leaders of all time and assuming everybody had the same fucking life. They didn't. Foraging was an act done by both sexes in the Paleolithic period.
How do you feel like?
Well, from a
She said, "Why do you feel like that?" And he's going to say, "From a biological perspective."
biological sense, women are inferior. And
Okay, from a biological sense, women are inferior. First off, like, the sentence, the title of this thing says she really believes women are superior. She didn't say that. You wrote that, and then you said women are inferior. Why are they inferior? They're, you know why they're inferior? Because you see it from one end. You only see one side of the coin, and you don't realize it's a fucking coin. You think your one side paints the entire picture of the coin, but you don't realize that the other side is also as important because you need the tail for the back to make the coin. But you keep assuming your tail is the entire fucking coin. So of course you would assume that they're inferior. But honestly, he must think he's inferior because I don't know why he would paint a situation amongst men and women that is based predominantly on a hierarchy and predominantly on not even an anarchy, because anarchy is a completely based on an idea that they're in competition with each other. Just, yeah, based on the idea that they're in competition with each other. Do you know we're not in competition with each other? We're actually supposed to synergize with each other. Here's a quick note. Guys created the hierarchy of women, the scale from one, two, three, all the way up to, seven, eight, nine, and then the dime, the pinnacle woman, right? Maybe there's just fucking human beings at each level of whatever the fucking thought you have. They're just human beings. And you perceive that they're ones, twos, threes, and fives and tens and nines based off some biological perceptions that you've painted as a hierarchy. Relate to them, you moron. They're just humans. And you can choose which human fits your character. You don't have to paint it in a fucking hierarchy of, man, she's a dime, she's a nine. That's what I want. How is she a nine? Is she a nine in her mental thought? Is she a nine on her physical appearance? Is she a nine in every aspect of her life? I don't think any of us are anything of that sort in any of our aspects of our lives because we have weaknesses. We're flawed, aren't we? That's the whole point. Learning how to get over our flaws, accepting our flaws, and moving forward. And having people help us get through those flaws, right? But you have a system, don't paint it like that. Because no matter how fucking good your quarterback is, the greatest quarterback ever, without a good line, without a line, that quarterback's never going to be able to do anything. You can have the greatest lineman ever. And guess what? You're not going to be able to do anything because you don't have a quarterback. Do you see how the system's purpose changes completely? The game is divulged. The game has reduced to nothing, lesser than its former self. Its purpose has changed. It isn't achieving what it needed to in the beginning, what it was set up for. We have to change this fucking perspective as a society, people. We're not, it isn't the battle of the sexes. It's battle of ourselves against ourselves. Seriously, we have to change it. Because it's kind of dumb. It's just genuinely stupid. But thank you, and I hope you have a great day.